Hello, this is Bryce, and thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, Jack of Trades. In today's What's on Display video, we're going to review the Tamiya Bear Hawk. So this car is special to me because this was my first hobby grade RC. I got one for my birthday in the summer of 1991, which is the same year that this car was released. It came out in May of 1991. I didn't know anything about Tamiya when I got this car. I didn't know anything about RCs when I got this car. I remember when I got the car, my parents telling me not to assemble it until my dad could help me with it. And I couldn't wait. It was the middle of summer, parents were working. I had nothing to do during the day, so I immediately dove into it. I had no idea what I was doing, but it came out all right. This isn't the original car that I had. That car is still at my parents' house up in Alaska. So I've been itching to get up there to kind of dig through my RC stuff because I haven't seen it in a while. I do know that I pretty much butchered my original car. I took the front and rear end of the car off, and I made my own chassis out of a street sawing that I had. So I had a street sawing, and I cut it up with a hacksaw. I think at the time what I was going for was a shorter wheelbase to try to give it better steering. So that was before I knew anything about cars. And these things, because they're so light in the front, they tend to push in the corners. So I didn't understand that concept, but I knew that I wanted tighter steering, so I thought if I shortened the wheelbase, I could do that. And to shorten the wheelbase, I basically took a piece of 1/8" steel, or whatever they make signs out of. Actually, it's probably like 3/16 steel, and hacked up a chassis to make my own car. I think I did a upper lower deck too. It was not pretty, and it did not perform. I just remember it. I probably still have it. I don't remember. The last time I saw the car, I don't remember what state it was in. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and we can get into some of the nitty gritty on this car. Thank you for tuning in. Alright, so let's dig into this car. This car has been done up in box art. The only thing that isn't box art is the driver hasn't been painted, and the wheels are missing the speed disc decal. I think the original wheels actually had it painted on the wheels, but you can get the speed disc decals that go on these wheels. So this car shares the bathtub chassis with several other cars, including the Falcon, which was the first car to come out with this chassis. And then we saw this in the, so basically went Falcon, Bear Hawk, then the Stadium Blitzer, then the Blitzer Beetle, and then the Stadium Thunder. They all share this bathtub chassis. Because the Blitzer Beetle is in production now, re-release production, you can actually buy quite a few parts for this car. And actually, let me back up a little bit. So the chassis is shared with those cars that I just listed, but when you get into the Blitzer Beetle, almost all the parts on this car are shared with the Blitzer Beetle. What it doesn't include are the front shocks and the uprights. Are on the Bear Hawk, they're in red plastic. On the Blitzer Beetle, they're in a different color. I want to say black, but I don't know for sure. And that's also true for the rear shocks and the uprights, and also the servo mounts. Otherwise, the shape of the parts, the molds are the same. And I think everything else is the same. I do know I don't know, from what I've read, the Blitzer Beetle gearbox is slightly different. I think it might have slightly higher gearing than the Bear Hawk, and that would make sense because of the larger tires or wheels. The other thing that's unique about this car is the wheels. So the rear wheels are shared with the Manta Ray, but the front wheels are fairly unique and hard to come by. I think they're unique to this car only. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please comment below. And then the tires are also unique to these cars, and they're, especially the front tires, these are really hard to get. So, what else? Oh, here's a nice little tidbit of information. On the bathtub chassis, the re-releases, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see this. All right, so on the bottom of the bathtub chassis, it says Tamiya RC the Falcon. So you only see that embossment on the original chassis. The re-release chassis don't have that embossment. It's just blank here. I don't even know if it says Tamiya. I'd have to go back and look. So that's a good indicator of the provenance of your chassis. Otherwise, I mean, so it's a fairly simple design. It's got friction shocks front and rear. The arms are kind of unique in that they are molded as two pieces and you screw them together. So you basically have two halves that get screwed together. What else? It did come with a mechanical speed controller. Then the resistor for that mounts back here. It has a fairly flexible bumper that was resistant to braking. Slightly different battery cover than the Falcon. I guess these dog bones, I don't remember, but the dog bones are prone to popping out. But you can fix that by putting O-rings at the bottom of the drive cups on each side. So you can kind of see how far that dog bone can slide out to the edge of the drive cup. So if you put an O-ring in there, it'll center it better. You just have to make sure you get good travel. The body is a hard shell body, so you can't get this body. It's actually kind of a cool body because it has this, you know, it's a one-piece body. It's got this roll cage on the back. If you take the body off and you take the wheels off, this thing is essentially identical to a Blitzer Beetle, which is why I think this car would be a great candidate for a re-release. I don't know why Tamiya does what they do. I think they've got 90% of this car already in production. I would think it would be low-hanging fruit for them to just make the wheels, tires, and body. And you know, whereas with the Falcon, you know, people were waiting on the Falcon to be re-released. Supposedly it was supposed to be released a couple years ago. The only thing that carries over from the Falcon really is the chassis, the bathtub chassis. Everything else you would have to come up with the molds for to produce. So I think this is a much easier car to take to production given what is already out there. It would be nice to get a new in-box kit just to kind of go through that experience of building one up again. And actually I have a couple of other kits. I have one kit that I've pieced together from parts, and I have another kit that I pieced together. Once you get the body, it's pretty easy, assuming you're comfortable with not having the original wheels. So one kit I want to build up as kind of a box art kit, and the other kit I want to do is a heavily modified Bear Hawk. There's a lot of things you can do. You know, you can put high cap shocks on it. You can run. They make CVDs for these. You can do actual tie rods instead of these plastic links, upper links. There's some things you can do. You can obviously put a hotter motor in it. So I picked this car up as kind of a shelf queen, but I think what I'm going to do is, well, regardless of the fact that it is a shelf queen, this needs a steering servo and a speed controller just so it can be run. And I do want to go ahead and do some light running on it. I'd like to take it out to the park and get some footage of it running. So that will be in the next video where I drop in some electronics and take it out for a run video. So before I close out the video, I'd just like to remind everyone that we are doing a giveaway at the end of the year. So I will put a link to that giveaway video, and the only thing you have to do to enter is subscribe and comment that I want to win a new kit. Not in this video, in that other video. But I don't know how many entrants we have at the moment, but there are pretty good odds of you winning if you go ahead and comment in that video. But thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.